Welcome everybody to tonight's home clinic. A home clinic is where we grab one quality coach and he presents on one specific subject for you guys to enjoy, and he usually does that from home. If you guys have been enjoying this series and would like to see it continue, we want to ask that you would like and subscribe below. Those things certainly help us to grow and is kind of that feedback to say this is a good thing. Keep this coming. If you have a desire to present in the future, reach out to us on Twitter, DM us. That's at the Chief Pigskin. All right, without further ado, tonight's home clinic.
What's up, Chief Pigskin? It's Coach Blair again. I'm here for some option talk. I'm with Coach Jason Starin from Wagner High School in San Antonio, Texas. How are we doing, Coach?
We're doing great. Thanks for having me.
Good, good. So I like to start all the option talks off by asking this question. Why do you choose to run the Flexbone option system?
First of all, I love the beauty of it. I love the physicality of it. And then it really is an equalizer. I don't think you can argue that. The academies use it for a reason. Smaller schools use it for a reason. I will never be disrespectful to the kids we have at Wagner. We have good athletes. We have really good players, but we're not going to have the biggest offensive line. And it's a system solely based on execution. It's rewarded for its toughness and physicality. And those are the things that have always appealed to me about football.
Awesome, awesome. So you're going to talk about pass protection today, so you can share your screen and go ahead and get started.
All right, fellas. We're going to talk a little bit about pass protection today. I would say that what we do is not much different than anybody else, but once we get to some of the axioms and some of the more specifics on how I coach pass protection, there might be some things that are kind of helpful to you. Before I became the offensive coordinator at Wagner High School, I was a career offensive line coach, 16 years. So, pass blocking power, blocking zone. I feel like I did a good job of studying that stuff. And so hopefully some of the things that I've studied in the past, I'll be able to share today. And it'll be specific to the Flexbone, but it's also very specific to pass protection in general. Here we go. Contact information, put this at the front in case you guys want to access this. My email is jstarin67@hotmail.com. Please feel free to reach out for any Flexbone needs or any coaching needs, anything like that. So there's my Twitter handle. That's my cell phone number. And then I always like to put my head coach's information on there. We have a really good head coach at Judson. We're in Judson ISD, but at Wagner High School, Coach Bruce has really let me kind of take the offense and do what I want with it. He didn't always understand what was going on with the Flexbone just because he hadn't had any experience with it, but he's a big fan now, and I give him a lot of credit because he takes some heat here and there, but he knows it's what's best for us there at Wagner. He's a player's coach, and he's a coach's coach. He takes great care of all of us. And so if you need any head coach information, holler at Coach Bruce. Okay, so we've seen in different presentations we see that the Flexbone teams typically will practice a little bit differently. Okay, so with our play action, our drop back protection during the season, we only dropped back or ran play action 84 times out of 749 plays. That was 15 games. That's only 11%. So it's really hard to carve out practice time. We don't have a lot of time for Indy. We try to do Indy during the spring, and then we coach individual technique during times like half line and team blitz periods. Another stat I want to share with you right there, out of those 84 times that we ran play action, we dropped back, we had 16 touchdowns, only gave up 3 sacks, and there were 3 scramble opportunities. So we weren't horrible protecting the passer at all. In that half line right there, I know everybody thinks of half line as a time to run your option stuff, but we run these 4-play series. We don't run heavy blitzes at them, but it is a time to look at kids' footwork. Every 4th play in half line is a play action pass, and we film all that, so we're able to look at the kids' footwork and how square their shoulders and hips are and see where their eyes are. So that's an opportunity to steal some time. Also with the fullbacks and the backside slot in some instances, their involvement in the play action protection as well. Okay, Wagner offensive line, throw this out there because some of this stuff you guys might find, it might be a good way for you to say the same thing that you're saying to your kids, just different terms, different axioms, different phrases. We obviously, offensive line is it's a different animal than the rest of the guys out there playing football. We expect a great effort without excuses. We want to hustle everywhere. The big thing is we want to study film and scouting information. Have to study film. It's mandatory. Their huddle activities got to be high. We want to win as many individual battles as we can. We're going to encourage each other, communicate. We're going to have an attitude. We want to practice with it and play with it. So PMA means positive mental attitude. Every time we break a film study, every time we break practice, the kids holler out, smart, fast, mean. Okay, pass pro, some axioms here right here. We got a pass pro. Sometimes, the kids, they have it in their mind. They think it's passive. They think that they're reacting to what the defense is doing, and it's actually not true. It's a 4-second fight, and just much like a boxer cuts the ring off, the offensive line needs to understand that they have the advantage. We don't want to necessarily react to the defense. We want to put our bodies in position between the defender and the ball, and just like a boxer cuts off a ring, we can predict where that defender is going to go based on where the football is, and we can use our head and our feet and leverage to kind of cut the ring off. Okay, so pre-snap. We want to identify any pre-snap indicators such as, the demeanor of a defensive player, their alignment, what a hand pressure from defensive linemen, staggered feet from linebackers, alignment of secondary. We'll get to some of that as we get to the film. For Flexbone guys, this becomes somewhat difficult. We want a good stance, and we don't want the defensive lineman to know it's a pass. We're going to have a hand-heavy stance compared to some other systems, and we just don't want the defensive lineman to know that it's a pass. Okay, we need to get our posture ASAP, and it's the same posture that you're going to study in any other offense when you're protecting the passer. The thing is, it's harder for us, right? It might take us 3 steps to get to good posture because of how our stance starts, right? We need to get our head out, and then after our run fake, we need to level our eyes. Because what level your eyes means is if your head forward looking down into your run fake, you keep your head down, you're going to have so much weight forward that the defensive lineman can use that momentum against you. So once you complete your run fake, you want to level your eyes and get your posture back. Okay, keep your hands in combat position. We need to be mindful of what our first step is in terms of what kind of coverage do we need on that defensive lineman as opposed to leverage. And so just like on double teams, your first step, what you do with your first step or your first foot is going to be a little bit different depending on leverage and what kind of coverage you need on that particular protection. Okay, stay bent. One of my favorite axioms, and the kids will complete this in film. I always say, keep your base wider than you, and the kids need to holler at me, think. A lot of times we think wide base, the distance X is good enough. Get your feet wider than you think than you need. Get those feet good and wide. Footwork is always in twos. Okay, so if when you take your first step to attempt to get that leverage you need, you got to bring the second step with you. Okay, look for a knockout if you're not covered by a defender. So if you're a helper and there's no immediate threat to your gap, make sure that you're not just standing around. Find some work. First touch wins, 6-inch punch, 95% extension. Make the defender restart his rush. This is where we talk about predicting what a defender is going to do. So if there's an outside shade, you need to take the outside rush away. And as soon as you take it away, then where else is he going? He's going nowhere else but back inside. So make the defender restart his rush. Be ready for and predict the second and third moves. We're going to talk about that quite a bit. Okay, protect your head and shoulders. Stay on the line of scrimmage when possible. We cannot be at different levels as a group. We got to, especially the guards and centers. We got to maintain that line of scrimmage. Okay, so I'm not going to have to read through these details because we're going to talk about the details when we get to pictures and film. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to teach bob protection. Okay, bob protection that everybody knows is a big on big, play side guard and tackle are man on, and then the center guard and backside tackle are kind of zoning, and what I'll refer to as ABC. So anytime as I talk about ABC side, that's the slide side. Anytime I talk about bob, it's the big on big side. Now, anytime we have a straight drop back, we're going to label it 032 or 054, or that means we don't, that we're not, it's not a full slide. It's traditional big on big. It's a 6-man protection, big on big, and there's a slide side. Okay. Then you have, anytime we have 132 or 232, that means the fullback's going to help us and it's a full slide. Or 232, you have the fullback and the play side A. Okay. So the way we're going to start this protection, the center needs to help identify the defensive structure to know which linebacker is responsible for. Typically, they're going to have the first backer head up or away, and sometimes they have the slide side is responsible for more than one linebacker. Make sure we already talked about this, but make sure we're paying attention to pre-snap information, such as depth from linebackers, D-line, DBs, so we have an idea who's coming or not. Sometimes it's hard to see that out call. Sometimes it's really easy. So we got to help those kids identify those indicators. And the other indicators, of course, are things such as number of defenders covering your receiver. So if you got an outside linebacker out there and then you got a safety kind of mugging down and you know, gaining a little width, you know, he's coming over there to cover somebody and the linebacker's coming. All right, so here, this is our Bob protection, and a 4-3 is what we call even. Okay, the first thing that the center is looking for is the outside linebacker. He's looking for the outside linebacker. That's his first read, and the fullback has got a dual read. And this is just this is Bob protection on the right side. Okay, the center's looking the left side, the ABC side, and we'll get to it. But the ABC side is looking for out calls. Out calls meaning edge pressures. So they're looking for edge pressures. That's these dudes right here. Okay. The right guard, the guard and tackle are man on man, okay? And they never need to worry about that, ever. They only have to worry about inside pressure. So if this linebacker to walk up here, this guard would call gap. That's what inside pressure would be calling gap. And if he gapped that linebacker, the tackle will block down, and the fullback will fit off the tackle's backside right there. All right, so this is where we get to do a lot of the learning. All right, so against a 4-3, this is Bob protection on the right side. Right, it's Bob protection on the right side. We got the guard has number 1, and the tackle has number 2. Okay, fullback goes inside out. All right, and the reason why I want to leave, if he comes, and he comes, all right, we're going to leave that. Attention is at the side. We're going to leave that one on quarterback. It is what it is. Right. All right. So, in this instance, this is where we're going to be a little bit different. All right. So some people, in a rudimentary understanding of this protection, you might say, well, the center has a gap, right? He doesn't have to mess with this guy. Well, we don't necessarily talk about a 4-man slide in this instance. This is still the guard's man, but we don't just have gaps. We also have people. So as this center has no immediate threat here, what he's going to do is he's going to crowd their help. So the center is going to drive his right knee into the crotch of this defensive tackle and his right shoulder into his chest. He will not use his left hand. He's going to keep his left hand free. He's going to eye this backer. And I tell my kids all the time, how long does it take to know if this dude's going to blitz or not? It's going to happen pretty early in the play. Okay, as soon as this guy flips his hips, he doesn't become a threat. You can scan your eyes here because you still have the A gap. This is your first job. And if this guy fits here, he'll be yours. Okay. Okay, this tackle right here, he'll be looking for indicators from him. He starts walking up, or you know, safeties aren't going to blitz off the edge, but he's looking at this right here, and he's always looking for outs. If we have an out call, okay, this guard needs to hear that out call because he'll be by himself. If this guy's coming off the edge, we anticipate that and that, which puts the center on the A-gap defender in there, in there. So the out call will take him off of that double team. Okay. In this instance, the only offensive lineman on the right side who's all gap would be the right tackle. Okay, we talked about these guys picking up inside pressure. the right tackle could call gap if this cat started walking up. Okay, some other axioms we like to live by is keep a 3-3. We don't want this 3 crossing our face. Okay, we can't just let that 3 go because we know the center has an A gap. Okay, so it is the slide side and they're working in tandem, but they're not just sliding to space and hoping defenders come to them. We have to understand that defenders are trying to sack the quarterback. They're not always just literally going through those gaps. Okay, we don't want to set with excessive depth, and we got to know where our help is coming from. It only takes a second to tell if a linebacker is going to blitz. Okay, so now what's happened? We look right here. We got the same protection on the right, but this guy has a 3 technique now. He doesn't have a a 2-eye. So the center's not having to help over there. All right, so the center in this instance is he's got no threat. So as he steps there, he's looking at this one first. Okay, he flips his hips and goes, and the center gets his eyes on the middle linebacker. All right, this guy can make the tackle call and out call, which it's in the center guard and tackle out on those 3 defenders. Also in this instance, this guard right now, knowing that the center has not made a call to help him, he with this guy in a 2, he's he knows center's helping. He doesn't have to set inside of that guy. He can set with his right foot into that guy's crotch, knowing that there could be a double team. If that guy were to spike inside, his right knee would be in his crotch, his left knee would be in his crotch. Okay, hips and feet together, and this guard would keep his outside arm free to look for this linebacker. Okay, and now we have another instance right here versus a 4-3 where there's 2 A gappers, right? So he'll come down, and the center's going to use his right shoulder here and his left hand here. Guard will squeeze that with his eyes on the slide side line. Okay, here we go. Here's some film. We got the 4-3, and this is 0 protection right here. So we're not in a full slide at this point yet. All right, everybody, we got a bob side. It's a 4-3, 3 technique, 5 technique. Should have a double team here between the center and the guard. We have a potential out call coming. Well, actually, that's a corner right there. We have a potential out call from here. His depth and his demeanor and his posture doesn't look like he's coming. So the slide side's on the left side, and the bob side's on the right. Okay. One thing we don't want to do is we don't want to drop this inside foot. Let's see if you see how this inside. When the inside foot drops, the hip opens, and he needs to keep this left foot up and keep his shoulders and hips square. Okay. You can kind of see these guys, eyes on their linebacker. Okay, it doesn't take but a second to know when that guy is out in the coverage. Okay, here we go. Okay, you see this guy's demeanor. Here's the middle linebacker, right? Again, let's look at the number. We have 0-32. 0-32, so it's not a full slide. It's we're bobbing here, and slide side, ABC side is over here. Here's the ABC linebacker. Okay, when this guy walks up here into this A gap, okay, this guard should be calling gap, gap, gap. And when he calls gap, he blocks down. That tells the tackle to block down also. Did a good job of picking this up. Okay, so called gap. This guy flips his hips and he runs out. They honored that gap call. Okay. As soon as that guy crosses face into the guard, you can see the tackle looking back out to help somebody. So you'd rather make the call if they don't need to. I'm going to go back real quick. So they're making the call. All right. They gap down. You see the tackle realizes that the guard's unengaged with that linebacker, comes back out to look for some help. This guy could have very easily came this way, but as soon as he flips his hips, get out there, tackle turns attention back out here to tell the fullback. See what the end zone looks like here. Okay, perfect. All right, so we have 0-32. The slide side is this direction. This is the guy that makes his call out if we're going to call it at all. We have Bob protection here. And anybody walking up like that, we would call gap. Post snap, they're not going to come off their defensive tackles to block a linebacker. That's the fullback's job. Also, post snap over here, we're not just going to exchange players. We're only going to block out if we call out. Okay. We talked about coverage earlier. What's pretty good is we got this guy pretty well covered up. You cannot see the offensive line. I'd like the offensive lineman to lag inside just a little bit, right? But this guy, if this guy's going to sack the quarterback, he's going to have to break through the play side guard, right? A lot of times kids, they get too far inside. They're only working a portion of that defensive alignment, and it's real easy to get that offensive lineman's shoulders turned. So I like the fact that this guy's nice and square. Okay. Now, right here, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see these offensive linemen, their feet are together, their knees are together. It looks like the hips might not be very close, but the fact that their knees and hips are together, pretty good indicator that double team's really working. It's hard to see if their eyes are where they're supposed to be. Okay, so this is a play art of an out call. So when an outside linebacker walks up like this, right, the tackle calls out. The guard has to respect that. We're by ourselves. Okay, these guys were already in a Bob situation. The only difference is going to be if this dude was if he was a 2-eye inside shade, then his footwork would have to cut that guy all the way off because he's got no right shoulder help from the center. Okay, a 2-stack is like an 8-man front for us. Okay, so here, this is an instance where now the center has 2 linebackers to worry about, right, inside out. If this guy were to walk down, we would still call out, just understanding that he probably wouldn't come, and if he did, he'd hopefully come on the other side of the ball. There's only 3 gaps over there. But so we have, I guess in a sense it's 4 for 5, but you could, or that's in this instance where you have a 2-eye. If he was, but if he was more of a 3, then you have 3 for 4. Okay, so these double teams are really important to us. When we talk about stepping for leverage and coverage, I would expect his left foot to be right there in that crotch, his right foot to be in that crotch, them shoulder helping. And in this instance, this guard, he has to understand the protection also. It's not just the center, but as they're double that, and they would call something like Alabama. You guys use whatever word it's out for us. It's Alabama on the right, and Arkansas. I mean, Alabama on the left, Arkansas on the right. But this guy's got to know what's going on too, because if he has left arm free, he's got to know that these two are the linebackers that we're responsible for. I'll tell you one thing that's different for us. We're not just gonna, like I said, we're not just gonna set out there and block whoever comes to us. So if this tackle does not call out, he does not call out, and let's say this guy comes late, and you're gonna see it later here in film. If he does not call out, he has got to block this guy no matter what. If he crosses his face, he's got to pound his inside foot and just knock his butt all the way across the football. And then if this guy were to come late, we would fan to it. Whoever's got the free outside arm. So right here, you'd have the center using his left arm. You'd have him using his right shoulder. And they'd be hip to hip. He'd have to have his left side free to see who was coming. And if this guy came late, we'd have the guard fan to it. The tackle wouldn't pick it up. The tackle's going to pick that up if he calls out. Okay, kind of an odd look. We call it a weak eagle. You have a 3 right here. You have a 5 right there. This is it's probably more of an odd than an 8-man front, but if this was a shade, right, you're going to see us block down. Okay, he's going to come part of the slide, but it is essentially an 8-man box because there's another linebacker out there, and then there's another one out there. This would worry me right here. This dude's foot inside, but he doesn't have his head inside. And you can see that he's already turned his shoulders. This tackle's already turned his shoulders as well. watch the right guard. He should be, his eyes are bad already. He should be looking down there to, let's assume, like in the picture I just showed you, this guy was a 2-eye. He was a nose guard. That's his job to come down, right? He should be down there looking at that one. I will say the fact that number 50 doesn't come, okay? We talk about this all the time. Doesn't take long. He goes, and then as this guy works across his face, he did work down with bad eyes, and he picks up that one unintentionally, but because his body position wasn't half bad, he was able to pick that up. Okay, versus an odd versus a 3-4. That's actually kind of sort of just what we looked like, but this dude was in a 3. Okay, we had one extra defender on the last clip, but what's going to happen is in a bot protection, he's going to have this, and now it is a true 4-man slide. They're going to double the nose to this one, and tackle's going to have this. In the past, we're going to start working a double team right here because we've had issue with the guard. We've had issue with this here. So we had the guard fanning out. We're going to go ahead and double this every single time. Now we still have to worry about this guy's demeanor, body position. If he's in, because we can't just start a double and come to this late. If you know he's coming, we're still going to have to make out calls, but we're going to work this double real hard because this cat created a lot of problems for our guards last year. It's not even the 5 technique, but like a 4. Okay, but everything stands true. We're still looking for out calls. I will say this: if this dude were to walk up like this, okay, it wouldn't be the guard's problem. The tackle would gap that, and you leave the fullback here. So if this guy were to walk up, the guard's still got to do his job, because if this guy comes, we need a left arm free from the center to pick that up. Okay, versus an odd. The play side guard in the center have the nose guard, the backside inside linebacker. We just saw that. And then this is what I was talking about, fanning to this. This obviously looks more like an out call. The tackle should call that. Tackle would set vertical. And the guard, the big thing is when we block out, the guard normally jumps way out there and the force still beats him across his face. It wasn't that the tackle was losing. We need to double that so the guard doesn't jump out so far. And I have tons of film to show you guys. It's going to be the best part when we get to the film. And in this instance, the tackle, right, he's got to get his right foot here, or his inside foot, his left foot here, so he could get inside leverage on that. That's a long way for him to go. He's not going to have help from his guard. The guard's got to double down on the nose to the backside linebacker. Okay. Let's see what the tight. Okay, 0-32. We're still not in full slide yet. We'll get to that here in a minute. 0-32. Tackle at the 4 wherever he goes. Guard, play side guards down here. Guard and center have this. Okay, we should have a double team working here. And this demeanor looks like we could call him out and see what happens. Okay. Did a good job picking that up. This is one thing, right? We all know. We could know. See this tackle with his hand on that guy's shoulder? We want this hand down on that hip. The kids know that. Okay, it's bad. This is bad technique. Okay, technique's bad, but the concept, the kids did a good job with the concept. The technique's bad. Okay, versus an odd stack. For us, it's really no different than an odd, to be honest with you. And no different at all, except for now if we're the fullback has 2 linebackers. This is the same linebacker that was right here, and this is the same outside linebacker that was right here. So essentially the same thing, but now the fullback has 2 extra guys. Okay, and then the other thing is we tell this tackle to make an automatic gap call. Okay, because of the cowboy and Indian stunts, that kind of crazy stuff that they could do. We don't know who's coming inside. We actually tell the tackle to go ahead and automatically make a gap call. So in this instance, now we're turning it to automatically full sliding. Okay, like I said, the tackle's going to go ahead and call gap. All right, our defense, as you can see, some of this player are drawn up. This is our defense during spring right there. Okay. Okay, so if we're talking about just bob protection, we're not talking about play action full slide yet. All right, versus a double eagle, something like this, we would money that thing. All right, everybody just block man on. We'd have the fullback up there do a reading. If it was full slide, what we'd do is we would double him, left arm. He would keep his left arm free, and the center would use the guard's body presence to kind of like, if that guy went across his face, the center would slam that into the guard and then pop his eyes over here. Okay, because if they tried to do something like this and bring anybody else there, if that guy were to go across his face really, really hard, not just a regular pass move, we're talking about a stunt, the center would use his hips, stay square, slam that thing into the guard. The guard's attempting to keep his left arm free. He would slam that into the guard and then get his eyes over into the A gap for anything from that. Okay. This is just revisiting the gap and out calls. Okay. Gap calls are made for inside pressures. They're made by the bob side. If we're in full slide, you don't really have to worry about it as much. But again, we're not just sliding. We have to know which players we have based on the defensive structure, not just sliding to a spot. Okay, so now we're going to get into the play action stuff, and there's going to be tons of film following. All we're doing on play action is these dudes, the ABC side has learned nothing new. He really hasn't learned much new either. So because, for example, if he had a nose guard in there, or if he had a 2-eye, he'd be down on it anyhow. Only in this instance, what he's got to know is he's doing what the center did not long ago. He's using his right foot and his right knee, slamming that into the 3 technique as the tackle slams down. He's keeping his inside arm free for this one right here. Okay, and the fullback is fitting right off the tackle's hip or whoever's coming off the edge. So again, since we teach bob first, because we're going to throw 4 verticals, we're not always simply doing play action. We actually teach 4 verticals before we teach our play action stuff. But right here, this is a note for the kids, right? Play action is essentially an automatic gap call by the play side guard and play side tackle. So now the slide side doesn't have to learn anything new. All right. So here are some scenarios right here. The bob side versus 3-4. Well, we don't want to just slide away. We're already working with 3-foot gaps. If this kid just slides in there for the sake of sliding, right? How big does this gap get? This is already an issue for the tackle. What we want to do is with no A gap pressure, on the snap of the ball, this guy, we want to throw that left knee into that crotch, attack that guy with your left shoulder, and keep your right arm free for this A gap blitzer. On the bottom, in this instance, right, when this guy spikes away, okay, this tackle, he's not gonna go too far. He's gonna kind of motor it down. He's got to see, who's coming. All right. The thing is, this is what happens all the time, right, fella? You tell him to slide, he just slides. Well, this guy intends to blitz his gap. Well, he just goes behind him. I'm not going to go in front of him just because. So this tackle's got to be mindful of who's actually coming to the B gap, especially when that 3 technique spikes away from him. Now, the technique we ask him to use, throw that left foot into that crotch, that's okay, because on that second, we're going to keep that base wide. On that second step, he should be able to catch that. All right, on that second step, he should be able to catch it. Okay, so we want to talk about this tackle right here. There's nobody for this guard to help, right? The guard and center are going to double in this instance. Boom. Okay, as the tackle settles in here, he didn't want to just run down in there. We're trying to get into that gap, but then you have to understand what's happening, right? Especially if this guy's been taking dive all night. If that guy's going to cross your face, we might let him just cross our face, square up, and shove him into the B gap. Okay, it's not about avoiding rushers. That's the thing about telling kids to slide one way or another. We got to know who do we anticipate coming through that B gap. And right here, there's only 2 guys. This guy's posture doesn't look like he's coming through the B gap. His alignment or posture. This guy, he kind of has his hips open somewhat, but the only 2 guys who are going to hit this B gap is the defensive end or this guy, if anybody. Okay. Another thing is we don't want to just slide forever As we slide, nobody's there. You're going to hunker down, and now you're going to use your left shoulder. If he hadn't crossed your face yet, tackle's going to use his left shoulder on this defensive end, because when the fullback comes off the edge, you know, we'd like to have some help for him if we could. Okay, and then here's the ABC side, right? We're going to have the double team right there, right? And then they're looking for out pressures. This guy's right side, right arm is free. Check the end zone for you guys. Perfect. Okay, so we have a, right now we're in 154. Okay, one meaning we have one back helping. He's coming off the edge. We're in a full slide situation. Okay, tackle's looking for outs. Okay, this guy's demeanor, his hands are on his hips, feet are kind of even. He might not be coming. Okay, this is a really good look at the kid's understanding. See how these hips are together? It's not hard to see. This kid, Deacon Scott, he's going to go play at William Penn. So, well, so is the center, actually. Both these guys are going to go all the way from San Antonio up to Iowa. But his eyes are out there looking at his dude. Okay, big old B gap. I don't like number 65's shoulders and hips. He's already kind of lost. We're going to go back and see how this started. Okay, so this kid right here, the right tackle, he does have the B gap, but who's going to come to the B gap? Is he going to cross your face? Is a linebacker coming? Is the guard going to need help there? I like Jeremy. I like his eyes mirroring this dude. And nobody came to him. But as the linebackers did this here, there it was. Pick it up. Okay. This is the other view. Kind of tough to see. We got 132. Okay, so it's a full slide, right? Jeremy's got the B gap, right? And who are the guys that might come to the B gap? We have this guy, defensive end, is about the only two that are threatening his B gap. All right. We should have guard trying to shove this across the center's face. Center and backside guard will be doubling that with their eyes on out calls, edge pressures. Okay, we're having an issue right here at left guard. See if we can get the end zone. Okay. Okay, so right now they're sharing the A gap. Defensive tackle has already started his redirection. Guard stayed here too long. He didn't see that early enough. Okay, because what's going to happen is he's already turned, right? His hips, shoulders are turned already. He started doing what we asked him to do, but and that's why all our footwork is in twos. You can see this foot didn't get back on the ground fast enough. You see how this foot's stuck and he's almost trying to step with that one. Okay, this ain't a bad job. So we're going to expect that since there's a 3 technique here, right? Guard should be right knee in the crotch, keeping his arm free for an A-gap blitzer. As the tackle comes down, we'll play it slow. As the tackle comes down, you'll see the 3 work outside the tackle. Tackle did a great job of carrying it. I'm telling you, you guys have all had this issue that you have a tackle keep working down. Well, coach, he didn't come to the B gap. Well, no kidding. He's trying to sack the quarterback. That's why he's not in the B gap. It's a good job of that tackle carrying that. 132, full slide on the right. Okay, so this is not a bad job of him keeping his pads down. Okay, I don't think so. This guy's playing real close to the line of scrimmage, and I don't know that he was supposed to be blitzing, because when he finds out a pass, look at what he does. You're not sure if he wants to go or not. He wasn't on a full-fledged blitz. But I think the demeanor and the body language of the lineman really helps sell this. Okay, right here, you can see this double team is hip to hip, eyes on that linebacker. As he flips the hips to get out of there, you ain't got to worry about it. We should be looking out here, though, right? Because the slide side has both those linebackers as an 8-man front. Oh, that's actually really good. You'll see it right here at the end. You see the guard try to bail out of there to pick this up post snap. So right here, if we're going to watch this guard, you see how it kind of like drifts into this A gap. We don't want him drifting in an A gap like that so much. This is a 3 technique. We want this. We can go and keep a 3-3. We want to drive that foot upfield and then drive this knee into the crotch. Okay, we don't need to drift so far away from the tackle. I think the tackle came as hard as he did. Same play we saw. It's like we come off the ball hard enough that we just pick the blitz. We pick that twist up. See this tackle up top? He's the slide side. We have 255, so the slide side is the other side. Way too much width. He needed to just stay vertical. He ended up getting so wide, he gave the inside move up. Got a lag inside. This is another action we use right here. See where it says lag. If you see on the description of the play, lagging inside. He needs to lag inside. Okay, nose right there, inside on the inside of that helmet. Can't jump out like that. 154, so the right side is full slide, the left side is ABC. I have a it's gonna be nice. Okay. Deacon, good eyes. He's kind of passing that off, anticipating this guy's coming. Okay. This is a little bit better by the right guard. See how the right guard doesn't really leave the 3 technique this time? Not so fast. Now, this guy gave him a reason to come off, but he didn't leave as fast as he left last time. This tackle covers a lot of ground right here. This is a pretty good job by the tackle. Okay, play action versus a 4-3. Still a 4-man front. Now it's just different linebackers for the slide side. Okay, this guy's going to make us call out if we need to call out. Excuse me, it's 155. This guy would make us call out. We're usually so right-handed. But you can see this center paying attention to this, right? Again, a lot of times, let's say junior high kids, you tell them to the slide side, they're just going to slide 4 yards down. And as his body moves away, it makes this gap so much bigger that, this shade nose is real hard to handle. So we really need that double team right there. Knees to crotch. Their shoulders and hips together. So we're on the full slide. And remember, this guy's got to know, hey, who's coming to my B gap, right? Who's coming to my B gap? Now, this guy, defensive end, is trying to cross his face. Some kids are not going to understand that. They're going to keep trying to work inside of him and not understand that that dude was coming to the B, okay? Probably had a little something to do with zone dive and veer. Right. That's yours, man. Don't leave it. That tackle could have very easily just kept working and kept the guy on his backside and say he never came to his B. Well, it's not just about your gap. I mean, that's how you understand it generically, but then we got to very specifically understand what defenders we have. Here it is again. I mean, the guy blocks himself, but then the tackle finishes the job. Saw the tackle had his eyes on the middle linebacker, which is correct. Okay, if we got a good end zone view of this, looks like we had a really good double team. The left guard in the center. Okay, here we go. All right. And this is beautiful. Okay, guards. I don't like the guard using his. If you see how he's using his left shoulder or his left hand, he's got his body turned. Right. Looks like he's trying to get his eyes out there. This tackle's already. His base is good. He's trying to get that foot inside, but his head needs to be over here. Okay. Tackles come down on the two technique. I'd like this guard to put that hip back in there, but his eyes are good, arm free for the A-gap blitzer. (132), the right side is sliding, the left side looking for inside pressures, the left side is ABC. That level's too high by the left tackle, they just pop straight up. Can't see from end zone, but you can see that their hips are good and together. They got a good double team on that defensive tackle. There's a good double team. If I rewind it, you can really see the guard checking the mic right there. You see the guard's eyes look at the mic like he knows what we're doing. Okay, hips are together. Their hips are together. Like the center's eyes should be over there. Maybe he's looked at the well and then back to the mic already. We've almost lost leverage here. See if the tackle regains it. Like the tackle to lag inside. That's a pretty good job. He's helping. He's get his right hand. See how his shoulders are turned? Okay, he needs to get his left hand out of there, but his eyes are really good. Okay, this guy needs to get his hips in there to reduce that space. Okay, can't tell if this is an out call or not. It's just or is the tackle just getting beat by an inside move? But so how we coach it, right? So you see that guard go and try and throw his. He's going to use his shoulder. That guy disappears. Well, when that guy goes across, no matter what happened, his inside arm was going to be free. But you could see that since his eyes pop over there and his not inside, but his outside arm is free. This is not normally his job, but it puts him in a position to help. Good double team by the right guard and right tackle. Okay, so that's actually pretty good. Look at the left guard's first step. Left guard's first step. Okay, he would still be in a position to put a knee in that guy's crotch and his shoulder and his chest, but you can see his eyes are right there looking at that, and he's his body, good wide base, inside shoulder in that guy's chest. Center's coming for the double team. I got an arm free. The arm's free for the linebacker, right? But the tackle's getting whooped inside, so that the fact that he has his arm free helped us pick this up. Another good picture of knees and shoulders and nice and tight right there and good eyes. Okay, so we work it. We're not great at it, but you can tell the kids have their eyes and their body where they're supposed to be. And it's play after play, really. It's not like we only are watching two plays. There's another example, right? You think full slide, you think fullback's going to be on the defensive end. Well, this guy comes across my face. I'm going to pick it up. Tackle's got to know who are those guys that could attack that B gap. And just wash that thing all the way down. It's a pretty good job. Look at this. This is beautiful too. My goodness. Okay. Hips and shoulders together. See his eyes? He knows what he's doing. Whoop. Okay. Just enough late. It's kind of a cool play. All right. We stole it from Harding. Not really talking about the play, but it didn't go very far. You can see the double teams are pretty good. Okay, see if I can get this on the end zone. This is pretty good too. So this is exactly what I mean. If you have this guard just sliding for no reason, and I know it sounds like a broken record, but you got to really hit this thing home. That's how I coach the kids. So if he slid for no reason, this tackle, the likelihood of that tackle trying to get all the way in front of that three is, not high. Okay, you see the kids. It's not a good run fake or anything, but you see the kid understanding. I've got the inside half of that guy. His eyes are on that linebacker. Yeah, linebacker doesn't come. Watch him work back. It's just a little. He's working back. Nobody's coming. Well, I'm going to go help that dude because really the tackle to get inside of a three, that's tough. It's tough enough to do it against a four, but he's inside of that. He's inside of that guy. Like this. Let me see something. 68, like a second or third string center. Okay. Good. Knee in the crotch, almost overlapped there. You can tell their eyes are over here. It's a pretty good job by them guys. All right. Okay, a couple versus an odd. Here we go. All right, here's a gap call. Hope we pick it up, right? That's a gap call for the tackle because it's 154, so it's the right side. This tackle should be blocking down on that. Again, because the center has that one, guard should be down on the nose. Right, and it's like we have a gap on this side and out on that side. Oh, that tackle setting too far out. We always want to lag inside. Always want to lag inside. $154. Right side is play side. Okay. One thing is, right, there's four techniques, man. We got to go. We got to get that inside foot all the way in there. It's going to take 2 or 3 pounds. You know, just got to pound inside, pound down in towards the football, trying to turn your shoulders. Okay, we have an out call down here. Looks like we had an out call, and it's a little bit better job. He's guard still kind of got beat inside. He went too far, but he's able to slam it back into that trash right there. $154. It's versus an odd again. Play side tackle number 50 has that 4 technique by himself. Okay. Can you see? Okay, real quick. This guy's going to go to UTEP. All right. This kid is 5'7", 240. He's not going to UTEP. Watch him get benched. Whoa. This is a really good job. Hip to hip. All right. Eyes on that. That's their linebacker. We have an out. We have must have had an out call because the tackle is not blocking him. Okay. Hopefully the guard doesn't go too far. Not too bad. Let's watch it play again. Good double team, hip to hip. Watch one more of these versus an odd. He's man on. The fact that he came, fullback should have been up in there. These guys were good. You could tell they were good hip to hip. You got a lag inside. Guard has guards giving up inside leverage on a four technique. That's the one thing. You stay out, the kids want to jump out, and that's what happens. So right here, we're gonna finish up by we're gonna see where did the kids screw up. We got some missed out calls. We got some bad technique, and didn't want to just show all the good ones. So there we go. Now, if I don't get to mention it, I think in the video you guys will see right here, I have it's a little in huddle. There's a place that we put description of play. Okay, so I use this description of play for the kids, and it's going to be a missed out call. So I'm going to coach you like I coach the kids. So if we have a 154, where's the out call going to come from? Right, because 154 they would call gaps. So we're going to miss an out. Okay. But in most of these, now this is this or is this not a sign? There's two dudes over here. They don't need two guys over there. So this would be an indicator. And you could tell that this guy is a backup tackle. I don't know what he's doing playing so early. It's only play 56 on huddle. All right, that's a pretty bad miss. Okay. Tackle's got to be able to see that. Okay, we have 0-32, and if we're missing an out call, it's coming from over here. Okay, this guy has obviously flipped his feet. That's an indicator, right? I'll tell you though, this kid right here, he's a receiver and a tight end for the first, 3 or 4 weeks of the season. He played like 11 games, maybe 12 starting at tackle, so can't really get on him. He had a ton to learn. Real selfless kid, 6'1", 180 pounds. But check this out. As this guy goes across, you see our guard's eyes. He's going to William Penn, and he knew, but we would have liked him to call him out. Okay, pre-snap. It's going to be this. Now this is an easy out call, isn't it? Should have picked that up. Okay, we ended up missing the out call. We did not execute that at all. We obviously should have him lagging inside of that, and he should have called out, seen it on his inside shoulder, and knocked him past the quarterback. Here's a bad out. It's from the year before. See the guard throw his head in there and just pass him off. Just carry it. Carry it. That's the guard. Okay, need to go wider for this missed out call. There you go. Okay. This should be fishy. A lot of defenders over here. Okay. He's pretty far from the ball. I'm not going to say this is easy. He's pretty far from the football, so it's hard for the tackle to see this. But especially in the stance he's in, it's hard to see. But you could see him watching. He knows he missed that. This guy, pretty good. Watch this. Oh boy. This one's not hard whatsoever. Okay, this might have been his first or second game at that tackle position. We talked about him. This one's not hard. You see the kid's feet. You see where he's at. All right. That's why we're going to end up double teaming this more, this force technique more, and try and keep his arm free, his outside arm free. And if he has his outside arm free, he can have his outside eye free, so he can see that quicker. And we'll pick that up. We're just going to work that different this year. Miss it out. But look, you can see that they both understand what happened. That doesn't really help us, but they at least have a clue. And see where he blitzed from. I'm not saying we were smart enough to do it, but we ran a little drag with our receiver right there. Okay, this isn't a missed out. This is more like a bad, poorly executed out. You could actually tell right here pre-snap, this kid came from defense too. See this kid, he's talking to Angel. Okay, just don't want to lunge, right? That's just bad pass pro technique. He's been a defensive lineman his whole life, or linebacker his whole life. And it came to us for the last 2 months of the season. Right idea, just bad execution. Same concept as keep a 3-3. Like this guy's already outside of you, right? Just want to keep him outside of us the whole time. You got a lag inside there. You don't have to worry about all that shaking. It's gonna be the same thing. Got a lag inside. right there. He did a bit of a job. If it was a 4-second fight, he had him for 3 seconds. Okay, so Division 1, defensive end, it's pretty good. Our little guard, just too far. Even when you call out, there's no sense in going that far because you want to lag inside. You got to keep it 3-3. See what the end zone looks like here. Okay. I mean, this guy was like almost, he wasn't too gapping, but almost like he was. Okay. You can see the guard's head. He got beat right off the bat. Okay. Again, that's why we're going to work that double team versus odds a little bit harder this year. Actually, exclusively. Versus odds, we're not going to worry about out calls. We're going to double the 4, and that's just what we're going to work. Learn from me here. 132, lagging it. We need to make sure we lag inside, don't go too far. That's another thing about, you know, if we're just sliding, sometimes you just slide and let stuff cross your face if you don't know who you're blocking. This is pretty bad. Obviously, lunging, not lagging inside, not moving your feet. That was not a skill of his. That was very good. Luckily, that dude was slowpoke. Okay, so here we go. Another description of play. We don't want to turn our shoulders. Stay square as long as we can. Where you're going to see it is this center right here. The center needs to just keep working his left foot down the line of scrimmage. Keep your hips square, keep your shoulders square. As soon as he drops that left foot, there it is. Boom. Stay square. All costs. Same one, is it? Same one. All right. So now we're looking at the right guard. So here you go, right guard. All right. He does expect help coming from here. What you're going to see is as this foot starts, first of all, you should have your inside foot up, right? He's going to start driving his foot this way, and then his left leg drops, and he gives up the inside lane. There it is. You'd have your inside foot up. And had his inside foot butt up, he might have had a better chance to handle that. All right. So see this tackle right here? I mean, could he turn his hips any faster? There's no way, right? You got to keep those hips square and take those guys on. So even what I'm seeing right now, anything you see the kids with the dreads, that was from 2018. So we had fixed some of this. I mean, we hadn't. I'm not going to say we're perfect, but in 20, there's a lot more of these description of plays from the 2018 season. We tried to fix some of it. Okay, so you're gonna watch number 50. I mean, you can already see his hips are almost totally flipped. His hips are almost parallel to the sideline. This is not sprint out protection. You have to stay square and fight and cover people up. What I mean by cover people up is if you're watching end zone view, right, you should be able to see just the back of the offensive lineman and very, 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 very little bit of the D line. Depends if you want any leverage at all. You don't want to see that guy. So when I say cover him up, that's kind of what I mean. Oh. Okay. Here's the right tackle. You can tell that his inside foot is on this side. So his inside foot swung back, which opened up his shoulders and hips. He needs to keep that inside foot just pound, pound, pound. He turned his shoulders and turned his hips. They win this right there. We'll make this the last one of this mistake. Okay, number 54 right here. Okay. He's lost hands. This guy had his first touch. Remember, one of the axioms we have is first touch wins. Okay. Did not win the hand battle. And it just got flipped. One thing is so for example, here's a line of scrimmage. If I'm a right, here's the center. If I'm a right guard, all right, I say I want my inside foot up, right? Well, I want my inside foot up. I want a wide base. I need my inside foot up, but I also want to stay square. So, for example, a kid could be standing like this with his left foot, his inside foot up, and his hips could look like this, and his right foot could be here. Well, that's not wide, nor is it square. Yeah, you want to keep that hip square. So the natural thing is when they're rushing on the outside, is that hip just kind of drop that way, right? So with your inside foot up, this back foot like this, and you need to really think about this is the one that's collapsing. So you need to use you kind of like concentrate on your right hip and your right shoulder to stay square. A bunch of these don't turn shoulders. Trying to get to the next. All right, here's a missed gap call. Okay, so for 132, remember, this guy, number 33, he doesn't belong to the guard. That's a gap call for this tackle on the full slide. All right, so this guard should be down on the nose. They're doubling, looking to that. This should be an out call, correct? So missing the gap call, that was this dude who missed. Guard was doing what he's supposed to do. Tackle's wrong. Went all the way behind the trail safety there. Okay, keep your inside foot up, which is the same as don't turn your shoulders. So here it is. So look at this guard right here. His inside foot is not bad. He's gonna, with this inside move, he's got to keep working that inside foot. As soon as it drops, he loses. Here's a good example, right? Look at these kids, hip to hip, right? Double teams, eyes in the right spot. It's the description of play we have right here. Good hip to hip, eyes in the right spot. Here, we're going to pick up a twist. I don't know how we do it because we don't work it tons. In the middle there. Fellas, hope you had a chance to learn something today. I'm super excited to be able to contribute to Chief Pigskin, and for sure got to give a shout out to all the guys in the Flexbone community, including Three Phase Football, Tony Rodriguez, Matt McLeod at Run the Trip, at Flexbone Nation, and friends of mine like Andrew Hebner, my head coach Charles Bruce. There's a lot of people that I have to thank. I just want to throw a couple names out there. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something, and I look forward to your contact if you have any
Awesome,
questions.
Coach. I can't thank you enough for coming on here and doing this for us. Like I said, thank you so much, and it was awesome. A wealth of information, man. Thank you.